will be no exception.
Going into round number 8 of the AMA National Championships, Brock Glover was close to nailing down his third 500cc title. His closest competition and the only rider to beat Brock all season, David Bailey, was out with an injury. Would he play it safe and ride for the points, or let it all hang out and ride for the win?
You know, of course, I'm going to think about the championship points that I need, you know, and there are 50 available points today, and I only need 36, so of course I'm going to go for those, but really I want to go for the win as bad as anything, because, you know, I like to win, and it means bonuses, it means more money, and, you know, of course, every time I can win, I'm going to try.
With Bailey missing, a Brock Glover runaway was in the making. Several other riders, however, thought differently, and when the dust settled from the start of Moto number 1, Glover found himself in a battle for 10th. Meanwhile, Alan King, a privateer, controlled the lead. Glover worked his way to 3rd, but once there was challenged by rider number 717, Timmy Coombs. The two riders battled through several corners until Glover tired of the game and left Coombs behind. Brock then moved to the rear wheel of number 55, Jojo Keller, challenged him for 2nd, and made the pass. With 5 laps remaining, Glover took the lead with this move on Alan King. Once in the lead, Glover never backed off and went on to win in Moto number 1. The second moto was all Brock Glover. He took the whole shot and opened an immediate lead and never looked back. The win gave Glover a record-setting 3rd national 500cc title. Ron Lachine scored a pair of moto wins to take the 125 class, as did Johnny O'Mara in the 250 class. Round number 9 of the series, Millville, Minnesota, and a 2nd national title was wrapped up. Ron Lachine went virtually uncontested in a pair of 125 moto wins. Lachine's domination of the 125 class throughout the season was, to say the least, awesome. En route to the title, Lachine has won 15 of 18 motos held to date. It was the first national title for the 19-year-old factory Honda rider. In 250 action, it was the veteran, Bob Hurricane Hanna, with the overall win. The huge crowd on hand cheered Hanna's every pass as he rode to a 1st place in Moto number 1 and 2nd place in Moto number 2. In Moto number 2, Johnny O'Mara, rider number 3, jumped into an early lead that he never gave up. O'Mara's win, coupled with a 3rd place in Moto number 1, gave the O-Show 2nd overall. 3rd overall went to Ricky Johnson, number 1, who chased Hanna all day long, but to no avail. The Yamaha rider had moto finishes of 2nd and 4th. Meanwhile, 250 Series points leader Jeff Ward, number 2, survived 2 first moto crashes to take 4th overall. What was once a huge lead for Ward is now only 20 points with 1 race remaining. In the 500 class, David Bailey won both motos to give Honda a Millville sweep.
In World Championship Motocross, 2 titles, 125 and 500, have yet to be decided. In the 250 class, defending champ Heinz Kinnegadner of Austria successfully retained his title in the last race of the season in Germany. A look at the final standings showed just how close the championship was. The KTM rider finished 1 place ahead of Jackie Vimont in the final moto of the year to nip the French rider by a scant 2 points in the championship. For amateur motocrossers, the single most popular event of the year has to be the AMA Amateur and Youth National Championships held annually at Loretta Lynn's Dude Ranch. The racing is great, but the atmosphere makes the event. Let's take a look as Tim Cotter reports.
Every year since 1982, the famous country music star and coal miner's daughter has played host to the AMA Weisco Amateur National Motocross Championships. Loretta Lynn's Dude Ranch offers racing and much more.
Hurricane Mills, a quiet little town in the mountains of Tennessee. It's owned lock, stock, and barrel by the First Lady of Country Music, Loretta Lynn, and it's a natural setting for a national championship event. Racers, sponsors, relatives, and fans show up in droves for the annual happening. The 4-day event provides plenty of opportunities for good times and laid-back relaxation. Some of it organized, such as the annual Dude Ranch Chili Cook-Off, and some of it impromptu, such as Dunk the Canoe. Then, of course, there's horseback riding, swimming, and, oh yes, motocross. From dawn until dark, some 1,000 entrants compete for national titles in over 26 classes. It looked like this on the first day of racing, a manicured track with jumps, whoops, and berms. It looked like this on the last day of racing, water slides, swimming holes, and mud wrestling. A two-day rainstorm caused by Hurricane Danny dumped several inches of rain on the championship track, making racing all but impossible. What should have been a four-day event was called after 3 with few complaints from the riders. It was agreed by most that promoter Dave Coombs made the right decision. Loretta Lynn's Hurricane Mills certainly earned its title this year. Reporting for Motoworld, this is Tim Cotter.
Most competitive in years. In 10 events run, there have been 8 different winners. The last race took place in May, and since then, fans and riders alike have looked forward to the season finale in Pasadena. And why not? 4 riders came into that final race this past weekend with a chance at one of the most prestigious titles in motorcycle racing.
The Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California played host to the final round of the 1985 Supercross season. It was a nail-biter from the word go, with Kawasaki's Jeff Ward and Yamaha's Brock Glover tied for the series lead and Honda's Ron Lechien only 2 points back. Rick Johnson, Glover's Yamaha teammate, had a mathematical chance, but at best it was a slim one. At the start of Moto number 1, it was Team Honda's David Bailey with a hole shot. Behind him was Honda teammate and contender for the championship, Ron Lechien. It was expected that Bailey would let Lechien pass and then try to block Ward and Glover to help his teammate win the title. Then Lechien misjudged a double jump and went down. And with him went the chances for the Supercross crown. The title chase was narrowed to 2 riders, Glover in 4th and Ward in 8th. Meanwhile, Johnny O'Mara was charging through the pack as if he were in contention. In the process, he passed Glover, dropping the Yamaha rider to 5th. At the checkered flag, it was Bailey with a win. Glover held on for 5th, and Ward finished 6th. The second moto would tell the story. This time when the gate dropped, it was the O-Show in front, followed by Ward and the Yamahas of Ricky Johnson and Glover. The Yamaha team had a choice. Glover to pass Johnson and hope he would catch Ward, or have Johnson try for the pass and, if successful, hold Ward back until Glover caught up. Either way, Glover would have to pass Ward. But Johnson goes down, and team tactics are out the window. The choice was made. Glover rode as hard as he could, but was unable to catch Ward, who was riding a calm, cool, and deliberate race.
My strategy for the race is just like any other race, take it one at a time. I just try not to think about points or who I'm racing, who I'm tied with in points. You start looking back at one specific rider, then you start having problems. I'm just out there to race like I've been racing all year, and that seems to be putting me in the winning circle.
At the checkered flag, it was O'Mara with a win. But Kawasaki's Jeff Ward is the 1985 Supercross champion.
When we come back, the Bellray Ford Motor Company 250cc U.S. Motocross Grand Prix from Unadilla, New York. Stay with us for a full half hour of the most exciting motocross action anywhere.
This portion of Motoworld has been brought to you by... The 250cc U.S. Grand Prix Motocross is presented by the Bellray.